Sometimes in life, we begin our journey in places that were never meant to define us. We grow up surrounded by people who don't see our potential, who mistake our strength for something ordinary. They try to convince us that the sky we feel inside our soul is only an illusion. But destiny has a way of whispering the truth, even when the world around us can't. Today's story begins with a simple farmer in his field and an egg that didn't quite belong. An egg that carried a future that was so much bigger than the nest it was placed in. My friends, this is the story of the eagle who grew up among chickens and was mocked for looking different. They told him he would never fly. They told him he would stay small. And yet, deep inside, he felt a pull towards something so much greater. A memory of the sky he had never touched. A truth he had not yet lived. This is the story of destiny that could not be denied. So if you've ever felt misplaced, underestimated, or surrounded by people who couldn't see who you truly are, this one's for you. Let's begin. One morning, a farmer was walking across his land and he stumbled upon something very unusual. A large, beautiful egg lying alone on the ground. It didn't look like any egg he'd ever seen. But wanting to save it, he brought it home and gently placed it under one of his hens. Weeks passed, and one day the egg cracked open. Out came a little chick, but it didn't look like the others. His legs were stronger, his eyes were sharper, and his feathers looked different. The other chicks laughed at him. They whispered and mocked him. They said, "Ah, you're too big. You're too strange. And you'll never fly like us." And so the little eagle grew up believing he was just a chicken. He pecked at the dirt, he stayed close to the ground, and lowered his wings, lowered his voice and his dreams. He lived small because the world around him told him that small was all he could be. One day he looked up and saw a massive shadow move across the sky. It was an eagle, strong, fearless, majestic, and it soared above him. This got his heart stirring. Something deep within him awakened. So he asked the chicken beside him, "What kind of bird is that?" And the chicken replied, "Oh, that's an eagle, the king of the sky. But don't get any ideas. We're chickens. We live underground." And so he lowered his head again, but the spark inside him did not go out. Days and weeks passed, but he kept watching the eagle in the sky, feeling something powerful calling him home. One morning, a strong wind swept across the farm, and instinctively, the young eagle spread his wings. And for the first time, they caught the wind. Something clicked. Something ancient. Something very true. He flapped, he stumbled, yet he got up and tried again. And then, with a force that came from his very soul, he rose higher and higher and higher. He passed the barn roof, the treetops. He passed everything that had ever held him down. He rose into the sky where he belonged. The other chickens just watched in silence. They were witnessing the truth. The truth is, a soul cannot be caged when it was built for the clouds. My friends, many of us grew up like that little eagle. We're surrounded by people who couldn't see our wings. People who laughed and doubted. People who told us, "You're too much. You're not enough. You're dreaming too big." But hear me. Your environment does not determine your destiny. Your identity is bigger than the place you started. And you were not born to scratch the dirt. You were born to touch the sky. You have wings. You have greatness inside of you. You have a calling the world did not give you, and therefore cannot take it away. The little eagle chose the sky, and you, yes, you can choose your sky as well. If this story touched your heart today, if it reminded you who you really are, give it a little love. Share it with someone who needs to remember their wings. And subscribe for more stories, teachings, and inspiration that help you rise. Until next time, keep your eyes in the sky, keep your wings open, and keep rising into the life you were born for.